G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the southeast side of the map, we've got a Hera in the red playing the Abbasid Dynasty. The Abbasid Dynasty finally received some buffs and it's coming to life in this most recent patch. I'm incredibly excited to see what Hera is going to be able to pull out once again. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're unfamiliar with Hera, this guy is an absolute insane player. I don't know what he's currently ranked on the ladder, but I assume it would be bloody high because this guy is a beast, an absolute beast. Spawning on the other side of the map, though, let's talk a little bit about who we've got. It's Nikolai Gogol coming in playing the Rus, of course. Nikolai playing the Rus in the color blue. Going to be starting us off with a hunting cabin and just going to be looking to play a little bit of standard Rus. Has opened up with the two scouts. We'll have a look over towards Hera and see what he's done. It looks like he's only gone for one scout. Oh, I don't know how I feel about that. Hera not up against the Rus and not on a map like this, which of course is high view. And there are a lot of native wolves that like to live here. Look, let's talk a little bit about the Rus on this map. The reason why they're so good is obviously because of the bounty system. And so they get bounty based on how many native animals? Yeah, we'll go with native animals, Gaia, that they kill. So that's your sheep, your deer, your wolves, your boar, all that good stuff. And so there's just, for whatever reason, there's just a bit more that spawn on this map. I guess because it's got all these forests. So it makes sense to have more of those Gaia. But we've got a very interesting character here today. We've got Nikolai Gogol. And so for anybody unfamiliar with this guy, he is quite an interesting character. Now, something tells me it's probably not the same guy that is playing this account, probably a fan, because the real guy actually died quite a long time ago. Back in the 1800s he died. He was a writer from Russia, as you would expect with a name like that. I mean, with a name like that, there's really only one part of the world, isn't there, where you're going to get that from. But yes, he's Russian, true blue Russian through and through. I guess that's how you could say it. Yeah, he's a writer, so wrote a lot of plays, a fair few novels as well. Yeah, I think the most interesting thing about this guy is sort of the events leading up to his death. So for anybody who is familiar with it, you guys will probably know. But yeah, very interesting. So like he was writing, and he'd written this whole sort of what's the word to say? Like I guess we'll just go with story. And then he threw he threw the entire manuscript into the fire, like because back in those days they got fire. And he said it was the devil that told him to do it. And then he had like an emotional breakdown, and then he didn't eat for like 10 days, and then he died. That's his story. So look, unfortunately, I mean, we're here 200 years later talking about his skills in Age of Empires 4, but his memory lives on. It was unfortunately, looking back on it, there was some very obvious concerns that were there, but yeah, very interesting way to go, and definitely probably a painful way to go. I don't know about you guys, but like if you're drinking water and you're starving, I feel like, oh god, you know what, we're 3 minutes into this game. Let's not talk about ways to die and like the best way to die and like good ways to die, comfortable ways. Look, bow and arrow. I took an arrow to the knee. That sort of thing, I'm all good with that. All right, you get me with an arrow to the knee, I'm good. We'll call it infection. But anyway, a huge amount of Gaia being led back towards Nikolai's town center. He's already picked up 225, about to be 275 bounty with those wolves alone. There it goes, 275. So he is a very happy camper. He's got 10 sheep there as well. So each one of those represents 5 gold. You can see him actually slaughtering them right now. Down to 7 sheep right now. And that is going to continue to climb up. He's got plenty of gold in the bag. So if he's going to want to go into professional scouts, he's going to be able to do it. Not actually making any more scouts than what he's got. So at the moment, you can see he's got the 2 out on the front. He's got 1 back here. So in total, about 3. But he's going up with the Golden Gate. But we'll check in with Hera, our hero of the day, Hera, and we'll see exactly what he's up to because he's playing the newly buffed Abbasid Dynasty, going up with the economic wing. No surprises there. Putting down a mill on his berries, and I'm curious to see exactly what direction he's going to look to take here. He is yet to gather up any stone, so not going to be looking to play a second town center just yet. That is typically one of the favorites that these Abbasid players do like to do, but I'm curious to see what direction Hera thinks is best. We'll check in over with Nikolai. We'll see exactly what he is up to. Nikolai going to be going for that professional scouts. No surprise there. He's got plenty of gold in the bag. Up to 325 bounty for him. So he is doing absolutely fine. And looks like he's just going to be focusing on his closest hunt. So he's only got the three scouts out. He is actually dropping down a stable, so could look to get a 4th, 5th, 6th, or even a 7th one. Actually, I take that back. He's got 3 over here, and then he's got the 4th one over here on the front line, which has got to be careful because Hera has got his eyes set on it. But speaking of set on, he's also looking to get fresh foodstuffs in as well. Also got the archery range and the barracks going down. So looking to do, I don't know what I would call this, but like Age 2 infantry spam seems to be the name of the game when it comes to the Abbasid dynasty. A lot of players lean into it, and I think it's probably one of their strengths, just primarily because, you know, it does take so long to get up to the next age. Obviously, it has been buffed up in the most recent patch, but it feels like it's a really long time to get up to Age 3 from Age 2, and if you do it, like, blindly or naked, you know, we often talk about like a naked fast castle, you know, where you do a fast castle without making any units, then you're quite vulnerable because you've just quite literally got nothing there. But we'll check in with Nikolai. We'll see what he's up to. So going to be dropping down an archery range here as well. So actually going out with an early knight. So this is something that we are seeing a fair bit more out of players from the Rus. We're seeing a lot more defensive play in the 2nd age, and then looking to get up to the 3rd age, you know, about the 10-minute mark. It used to be up a really quick. So that early knight already going to be coming out, meeting these scouts and the 2 early archers. But of course, Hera on the other side of the map has already got that barracks down, so he's going to be a happy camper as he looks to potentially one day get that phalanx upgrade. And I tell you what, I'm looking forward to seeing some Abbasid spears out on the floor, just, you know, stabbing people from a mile away. Well, actually, that was a scary bug. Maybe not a mile away. Let's go with like a meter away. Actually, a pike is probably... How long do you reckon that spear is? Probably 3 meters, because these guys, probably like standard middle-aged fellas, 1.6 meters. It's about twice the size. Yeah, we'll call it 3 meters on that spear right there. So, you know, about 6 meters away from someone, because I think that's the bonus, right? It doubles it. Yeah, so we'll call it 6 meters. We'll call it 6 meters. Hera actually going to be losing a scout up in the north to the early night. We'll check back in with Nikolai, see how he's doing. But beautiful tucked-in base at the moment. I would just commend him on that. And this is something that I don't see enough players doing. I love the way that he's building all of his infrastructure behind his town center. This bad boy's got 7,000 health on it. Don't put your stable in the front. Don't put your archery range in the front. You need that to make units, and it's only got 1,500 health. You could burn through 4 and 2/3 of a stable in the same time that you would take to burn down a town center. And, you know, if you're losing a town center, I mean, you're not too fast. Like, honestly, it's not a big deal if you lose that. If you lose these, then you're going to have a real problem because you're not making any units. But speaking of making units, out over on this north side, we do see Nikolai looking to improve his bounty even further. He's going up to 400 right now, looking to actually get out a horseman as well and starting to raid his opponent. At the same time, we've got a counter push coming in on the south side of the base of Nikolai. Hera actually looking to make a few ends meet as he's got 7 archers, 6 spears just out here looking to try and control, and I think he's actually going to be quite successful. Now, keep in mind, he's playing the Abbasid dynasty. He's going to be able to get a battering ram down here and cause a fair bit of havoc as well if he wants to. But keep in mind, obviously, that's something that could potentially get cleaned up very easily. It sounds like we might even have a landmark going up potentially. But we'll talk a little bit about that later, as it looks like some wolves have gotten in on the action here as well. We'll check in with Nikolai. It looks like he's decided to ignore the wolves. Honestly, I just would have gone after the wolves there and called that a victory. That's like 50 bounty. That would have been wonderful. But now, looks like Nikolai going to be aging up. So he's got out a few units, just a handful, you know, just to handle the potential threat at home. So he's got out 5 archers. I think he's got out 2 of those, 2 knights, a single horseman. So, you know, really going for a nice mix. Archers from Hera did come in, poke towards that Abbey of the Trinity. You can see he's going to be up to the next stage very quickly, probably before that 10-minute mark, and now pushing out with some archers of his own. We can see that he's got the archery range ready to go if he looks to, or if he needs to put down any more of those. But we'll check back in with Hera. We'll see what he's doing as the blacksmith is now coming out for him. Some cool upgrades in here as well for him. Most importantly, increases the movement speed of his camels. This one, it's a little bit expensive. I don't know how I feel about it, honestly. They should probably move that to age 3 and reduce the price down, because I don't know. It just doesn't feel that good. 700 gold for +2 armor on camels? Yeah, maybe. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how Hera likes to play it. Maybe he likes that one. But fair bit of distance going on now. So for anybody playing along at home and wondering what is the optimal space for a lumber camp to be placed, it is indeed that one right there. You want to just be placing it as soon as you can, as often as you can. And now we see a little bit of a push coming in towards the base of Nikolai as Hera once again continues posturing. Still plenty of units up here. Nikolai in the third age now. Going to be looking to get that warrior monk out. You can see the first one there. We'll have a quick look at the relic spawns. See how they've come up. Looking pretty good actually for Hera. Slightly favored towards him. So he's got 2 down towards the south, 1 up towards the east of his base. And both of the relics here on the front for Nikolai are pretty far forward as well. So Nikolai's going to have a bit of a task on his hand looking to secure all 5 of those relics. So we'll have to see how he goes. But he's obviously already up to the next age, going to be able to access all those upgrades if he needs to. And going to be able to work towards those horse archers or those men-at-arms, which is exactly what we see him doing. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see a few little ticket uses here. He's obviously got professional scouts. He's got plenty of his deer carcasses under the town center, but there's still deer carcasses out there to be had. You can see he's taken 4 or 3 away from Hera's hunt over here on the right, and up towards the north it looks like there's still 7 deer that are up here that have survived, and he looks to have secured both of his own. So far out of... Actually, he's still got this one just here. What is this one doing? Oh, this is probably from a scout that got taken out earlier. So from out of the 28 deer that are on the map, he's managed to take so far 14, 18, -1, 17. 17 out of 28. Not terrible. First relic coming in. It looks like he's only got 1 warrior monk out, and Hera now beginning to lay waste or lay siege to the base of his opponent. Battering ram is out. A couple of men-at-arms as well as those scouts begin heading down towards that battering ram. Going to get focused down by those archers, and you can see Hera looks to be really committing to the second age here. He does have the ability to age up, as most civilizations do. Well, in fact, I'd probably say all civilizations do. But isn't going to be taking that route just yet. Does have +1. So he's going to be able to be quite effective against these men-at-arms. My main concern is if +1 comes through on the other side. But speaking of on the other side, it looks like Hera deciding to get in amongst it and starts taking out villagers. First villager going to be going down. There's a couple more spears in here looking to focus down a second villager. They do manage to get it down. More men-at-arms continuing to pump out. Looks like the majority of the units have gone down on the front line, but still a lot of units back here right now for Nikolai. He is looking incredibly strong. At this point in time, I'm looking a little bit worried, honestly, for Hera. I'm really looking forward to seeing if Hera is going to be able to pull this one out, because at the moment, Nikolai is playing this perfectly. Third ram going to be coming in now for Hera, and Hera now focusing down these men-at-arms, but he's going to have a real issue on his hand once this mass continues to build up. Archers on the back line going to continue teeing off at the same time. It looks like a few early knights are still out and about on the field, looking to pick up interceptions. Yeah, looking to pick up interceptions on the reinforcements. That's what he's doing. Archers have followed out these rams quite far. They're actually going to be heading back. But now these men-at-arms actually getting cleaned up, and Hera doing a pretty decent job of holding this push. He's got to be careful. Nikolai needs to build up a mass, so sending in these men-at-arms 3x3, hurrah, hurrah, it's not the best thing to do. Looks like this raid will get cleaned back up towards the base of Hera, and now Nikolai going to be falling back. You can see that veterancy coming through for him. He's still got quite a few villagers here that have got their torches out, and keep in mind, not only do they have their torches out, they got their lamb chops as well, so if you're thinking about a barbecue, you have come to the right place, my friends. And now that battering ram going to be going down. Unfortunately, Hera not paying enough attention, and unfortunately does lose the second of the 3 battering rams. So 1 single battering ram remains, and now those men-at-arms again coming out to meet his enemies in battle. We got that +1 coming through just yet. Doesn't look like it. And I remembered I just had a flashback to the ranked beta, and I'm like, wait, why doesn't it say 5+1? Why does it say 6? And then I remembered, wait, that was the ranked beta. That wasn't in the live version. So hopefully we get that update soon. But these men-at-arms continuing to funnel in. Behind this, honestly, I think Nikolai is fine. Is he still grabbing in those relics? No, it doesn't look like he has been. So if Nikolai was still grabbing in these relics, I would think he'd be in a fine position, because he'd be leveraging his bonus in the third age. But you can see his macros kind of gone to shit at this point. He's having a bit of a tough time with regard to his food. There's not a lot of food that's left here. I mean, he's got 5 sheep that are on the ground, and he's got a few deer carcasses in here, but not a whole lot has been gathered. I guess he's always got berries back here, but it's a bit of an investment. And now looking to actually get out on this this gold mine. You never really want to be doing that. So could potentially be looking at going towards a mangonel, and that's exactly what he's going to be doing. The siege workshop has been dropped down. I can't believe I didn't see this earlier. I'm curious if Hera's seen that one, but a single mangonel will shut this down. This is something that I often talk about, is that a mangonel just counters age 2 play so effectively, and I think we're probably going to be seeing it, because if ever there was an age 2 play that could probably beat a mangonel, it's right now. Like, these masses are starting to look quite formidable. So when we look at Hera, he's sitting on 25 archers, he's got 15 spears out right now, plenty of battering rams that have come out, and now you can see that he's focusing down the villages, or at least was before. Now he's a little bit more worried about those men-at-arms as he continues to pull back the battering rams as well. We'll have a bit of a stock take. He's on 51 villages compared to the 44 of his opponent. Now keep in mind he's got the relic in the bag as well, so realistically, you know, call that 44, 46, 47. I'm not sure exactly what the number is. Now going for a sacred site in the back, a nice move, a safe move here, and a good way to secure up another 100 gold a minute right there. And now that mangonel going to be coming out. Let's see if Hera spots it. There it is, the first shot landing. It looks like it only manages to hit the front row, so unfortunately it looks like only 4 archers bought tickets for that show. But Nikolai, surely he's going to have a few more stories in the works for us today. Let's see how he goes as the spears begin moving forward. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually see villagers coming out. Whoa, where? No, not the sheep. You killed the sheep. You massacred the sheep. Nikolai massacres his own sheep and then falls back. That is absolutely terrible. Let me tell you a couple reasons why. Number one, lamb chops are one of my favorite dishes. I can't believe he'd massacre them that hard. It was a terrible damage. Second thing is it unpacks the mangonel and then he fires off and then repacks. So a big misclick, one of the biggest mistakes you can possibly make. That is massive. I can't believe how much that misclick just cost our Nikolai right there as the mangonel shot lands down towards the archer. And oh my, oh my god, that would like, oh, I can't put into words how big that mistake is. Ladies and gentlemen, kill your sheep. Don't let your mangonel kill your sheep. You gotta kill them with your villagers. That's a feels bad man moment right there. But, I mean, Hera picks up an absolutely beautiful swing right there. Manages to take out the mangonel. But speaking of mangonel, he's not going to see it as... Oh, that was a wonderful shot right there. And this is ideally... So, don't think of the mangonel as like it kills everything, right? It just weakens things. It does damage so that, you know, you get a little bit of better trades coming in. And a huge misplay once again coming in from Nikolai. He's not pulling villagers fast enough. For all you folks watching at home and wondering, what should I be doing when I'm defending against this age 2 push? You need to be healing up those mangonels. Incredibly important. But now we see still no +1 on Nikolai's men-at-arms. He's getting focused down here by Hera's mass. 33 archers out for Hera. We'll take a look from the perspective of Hera, see how he's doing. He's on 56 villagers still. Has he cut production? What's been going on with Hera? He's training villagers. Maybe he's just taking a break. Maybe he's taking a break, but he's doing a great job of focusing this down. He's got the 2 battering rams out here now, so not a huge amount. Focusing on the town center. Now you can see the town center is actually bypassing and focusing down these. Villagers going to get pulled out once again. Beautiful little micro right there from Nikolai, doing a great job. Mangonel comes off, gets a beautiful shot down on the majority of these archers. There's no more spears remaining at all. These mangonels are going to be able to push back these archers very, very successfully. And you can see now a little bit of a wasted fight as a Wololo comes in now on the back line. Channeling his inner salami. Can he get it off? It looks like he's going to be able to capture 2 villages. Not a bad effort right there, and heads back on into the stealth forest. Pretty decent job right there from Nikolai. He is doing very, very well. Going up against one of the best players in the world here, and he is putting on an absolute show for us here. So, fellas, if you're watching this one, make sure you go check out Hera. As I mentioned earlier, I'm going to leave a link in the description over towards his YouTube channel. You can check out all of his content over there. He's doing AoE 4 content all the time. Now, let's get back to the game. I feel like I'm like doing short ad breaks for our players. Like, we're in the middle of the Super Bowl and like the advertisement comes on. Sponsored by Hera, this year's champion. I gotta do the voice. I gotta do like the deep voice. Mangonel shot landing on those spears. Great way to focus that down. And now, and this is what I was talking about earlier. You get a single Mangonel shot on this, and this is gonna be absolutely beautiful. Does a bit of an overhit, but that's really, really quite fine. Let's see if he pulls those villagers out to heal. Indeed, he does. Second mangonel out now, coming onto the field. Manages to take that off. Men-at-Arms going to be able to take out the remainder of the hardened spearmen. At the same time, a little bit of a forced fight over here. Bit of a mistake, really. You can see Hera trying his best to focus these down. Ideally, when +1 comes through for Nikolai, I can't see how he's going to lose this game. +1 for Nikolai. Second town center going to be coming down for Nikolai. My lord, Nikolai, you make me excited with that beautiful stuff you're throwing around right there. Up towards the north, it looks like the sacred site was attempted. I'm not sure exactly what happened. No, it looks like we've got a bit of a neutralization up towards the west. Okay. Yeah, I mean, at this point, Nikolai looking very strong. My main concern is that Nikolai has had, at most, like 5 men at arms this game. He seems to just make 5, delete them, and then make 5 more. And then he deletes those, and then he gets a mangonel, deletes his 5 sheep with them, and then he deletes a mangonel. All right, Nikolai, here's your game plan. You can push out, I'll permit it, but you got to bring some villagers with you. It's really important you bring villagers. So here's my hot tip for you guys playing along at home. Bring a few villagers with your mangonels, especially on a map like this. And you might be asking, Drongo, why is that? What for? What should I do that for? First thing is, when you bring your villagers, they're going to be able to drop down wooden fortresses or outposts, whichever civ you're playing, and they're going to be able to see through this forest. So you see this forest right here. If you actually create an outpost like Hera is doing, you bypass all of that tree, all of that foresty stuff. Whereas if you take a look up here towards the north, you can see this mill cannot see further than the stealth forest because that's just the way the game mechanics work. So it means that you can very easily get ambushed. When you bring a villager, however, though, you drop down the outpost and boom, there you go. So what was my recommendation? Bring a couple of villagers. The reason why is you're looking to heal the mangonels with them, but at the same time, their secondary purpose is to establish line of sight. So you would be pushing forward maybe with a scout like this, maybe just drop a wooden fortress down, you know, somewhere around here if you're fearful, but at the same time, continue pushing up. You've got line of sight on your enemy at this stage, so you probably don't need it. You know, that's always a secondary option that you can fall back onto. But now it looks like Nikolai got to potentially make the biggest, beautiful shot of his life as the mangonels managed to take out. That's got to be 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? Nikolai! Nikolai! Except when he killed the sheep. We needed those. Looks like he's identified a huntable boar in the middle. This guy really does have a problem with the Gaia on this map. He's going to hit that 500 tier 3 bounty. Nikolai doing a great job. Keeping us all entertained, Nikolai, I will say. Hera heading up towards the 3rd age. Got a beautiful infantry mass at this point in time. We'll take a look at the upgrades that he has got. So he does have that phalanx upgrade that's come through. No other upgrades just yet. He's got access to composite bows in the 4th age, which is going to help him out a huge amount with regard to his archers. He's also got some other cool techs in here, like this one right here. Boot Camp, another Imperial Age one. He's going up with the Culture Wing, though. So this is a pretty standard thing. But we'll have a look and see. I don't think he's actually dropped down a second town center just yet. He has actually moved onto his second line of trees. And what are you doing? What are you doing back here, Nikolai? You're just throwing down little cool wall segments. I like it. I like it. 71 villagers for Nikolai. He has got 3 relics in the bank. Not bad. There are still 2 relics out on the field, capturing up his second sacred site. So I'm going to give him, I would estimate at this point, I'm going to give Nikolai 73 plus 500 gold a minute. Let's compare that over to Hera, who's on 69 plus 0. Nice. Nikolai now adding in that wooden fortress, as we mentioned earlier. This is a very key building in this combination. You want to get that bad boy up, and beautiful wooden fortresses. Actually bringing villagers forward just to take advantage of that boar. Very, very nice. Nikolai playing impeccably at this point. Honestly, I've got nothing bad to say about Nikolai. I'm kind of wondering, like, at this point, what rank is Nikolai? Hold on, let me check. He's ranked 211? Nikolai, you're playing like you're ranked 203, man. You are playing very, very well. But now it looks like the little walls getting thrown up on the east side of Hera's base do finally get shut down. Not gonna have a lot of luck there. We did spot a warrior monk heading out towards the edge. Now, from Hera's position, he needs to be doing one thing. We'll check and see whether he's doing it. You guys know exactly what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about Springolds, baby. And indeed, he's doing it. There we go. We see the Springolds finally getting added. I was looking for a siege workshop, but then I remember he's playing the Abbasid. Well, I didn't remember. I saw he's playing the Abbasid. And Springolds are getting put down. And that's going to be able to very effectively counter this, because all he does, he rolls up the Springold. He keeps the archers very close to the Springald, okay? You don't want to let the Springolds go out too far away without, you know... They're kind of like, you know, a baby. Not a baby, like a toddler. You can let your toddler, like, walk 5-10 meters in front of you, but they got to have that chaperone. It's exactly the same with a Springald. Think of your Springalds as your toddlers, and now the Springald v Springald going to be happening. Taken out 1 for 1. Needs to be focusing down the Mangonels. Not going to have a chance to do it. The toddler's getting left a little bit too far behind. Mummy and Daddy got to get back with the... What is this analogy right now, Drongo? You're a crazy kid. I'll tell you that much, mate. You're a crazy kid. But plenty of men-at-arms now finally coming out for Nikolai. I like the fact that he's going into Springalds as well. And if he's thinking about the late game, he is thinking 100% in the right direction, because I have advocated for a long time. Advocated? I don't know if I've if you're going to use the word advocate, like we're talking about like, you know, asylum seekers or refugees and advocating for them. I guess I could advocate for, you know, a strong late game coming in. But it looks like now, speaking of strong late games, that we've got a potential battle that's going to be unfolding on our hand as the Mangonels fall back. You can see the toddlers moving forward as the Mangonels try their best to stay alive, and a Springald going to be going down on the front. We've got Springald towers here. Mangonels going to be going down to 16 health on that bad boy. I can tell you right now, the men-at-arms, look how well they're doing. Men-at-arms managing to go through the front line. It looks like one Mangonel does remain as it continues firing off, and a second Springald going to get put down on the back line. Toddler almost going to be going down. Look at him run. So one of the things to note is that with the Springald emplacement, which is on the wooden fortresses, you can actually use that to target the Springalds without them actually having any sort of ability to shoot back. So the Mangonel here, going to get taken out. You can see it's on 16 health right now. He's got villagers nearby, so he's going to be able to heal it up if he manages to escape it. But you can see with this wooden fortress, if he focuses down these, we'll see whether he does it. Oh, look at the villagers. Look how fast they're healing. Villagers doing a great job there. Just a huge mass difference. The only difference is the actual Mangonel. Look at the Mangonel shot coming out, landing right in the middle of everybody. And it does look like all the siege going to be going down here for Hera as Nikolai once again continues his reign of terror. Let's see if he can turn his attention towards the archers that are back there. Indeed he does. Here he goes for the shot. He lands it. It looks like he takes out about a quarter of Hera's army as he continues to push forward. He's trying to focus down those villagers. He gets another shot up in towards the air. Hera looks like he's going to come out victorious in this fight right now, but will he be able to take the game? That is the question, as another shot begins to unload. You can unload as well if you want, but Nikolai's still really looking quite in a strong position despite this. If we do a bit of a stock take, you can see he's got 78 villagers at this point. He's got the triple tier. He's got 22 military population. If we do a bit of a stock take, you can see back here he's got 3 relics with the 4th on the back of the warrior monk, still yet to be captured. He's slowly beginning to transition into farms as well. Doesn't have quite a lot of them down just yet. Has walled up very effectively though, I will say that much. Towards the middle of the map, Hera continues to try and reinforce the position, but now we actually see a keep going down. Now, I don't think this gets spotted out by Hera, just simply because of the way the stealth forest works. You can see that there is a footprint here, but I'm not sure if he'd be able to see the footprint. I think this game's pretty good with footprints. Actually, I'd have to double check my notes on that one. But it looks like Hera now going to be able to clean out the infrastructure here from his opponent. More battering rams coming down. Hera sitting on 83 villagers. So we've got 83 villagers, 46 military versus 82 villagers, 23 military. But the difference is one player has got an extra 600 gold a minute coming in, and one player doesn't. Who would you rather be in this position? Leave a comment down below. Leave a comment down below. Who would you rather be in this position? 28 minutes into the game. Which player has the better position? Because I'm about to give you my answer. The castle's just come up, and it's Nikolai. I definitely think Nikolai is in a better position at this point in time. The castle's going to enable him to really, you know, hold quite strong with this position. I think once he gets up to the 4th age, once he gets those Streltsy out, there's really going to be no way that Hera's going to be able to contend with him. But that is a different story, because when it comes to the 4th age, that is a long way away, ladies and gentlemen, because we are still about 2,000 food away from that. But up towards the north, it looks like Hera loses out a warrior monk. The relic is standing by next to it. And a little bit of a distraction raid coming through. Now, Nikolai has done a pretty decent job at walling off this south side of the map. But towards the north, it is quite open. And as a result, it means Hera, despite his lack of invitation, has walked right into the base of Nikolai. And Nikolai's not happy. Crossbows now coming out for Nikolai. Why on earth are you going crossbows, Nikolai? I guess there were men-at-arms coming out from Hera. All right, I'll give you that. You know what? There's 19 men-at-arms from Hera. Oh, I will permit it, Nikolai. I will permit you to make crossbows. Yeah, I mean, honestly, from this position, with the trebuchet, with the keep here, Hera's going to need to get trebuchets out. But the thing is, with trebuchets, he can't make those. He's actually going to have to get a siege workshop out. And that's the Abbasid. You never really want to do that. You always want to be sort of mobile in Age 3. So it's going to take quite a bit of an investment for him to do that. So I think the safest play right now for Nikolai is to actually just keep making mangonels. And if you can get up to like a 5 or 6 mangonel number, wall it off as well, because I think there's a forest right there. Yeah, there's a forest right there. So if you can wall off, and he's doing it. So wall off, mangonels behind, you are going to be absolutely fine, baby. So we'll see exactly how he looks to play. Hera, not a lot of resources in the bank. 86 villagers at the moment. 86 villagers for Nikolai as well. Both players seem to have forgotten about villagers. A lot of men-at-arms now out on the field as well. Let's see if that Mangonel is going to be able to get some shots down. It does indeed. Not a lot of damage going down onto it. A huge health pool on these men-at-arms as they continue pushing forward towards that Mangonel. A lot of Springalds out here, and Springalds are the real head-scratcher in this situation because these bad boys are expensive but very ineffective against the composition that Hera has gone for. It looks like he's going to be losing a lot of these units out here as well. Not really paying attention, hasn't brought the villagers forward. You can see the Keepers managed to take a lot of damage here with these battering rams. They've done a great job with it. So I'd just love to see some forces coming out from Nikolai. Looks like the Mangonel is going to be able to stay alive as the villagers do manage to get on top of it and manage to keep it alive as those torches continue getting thrown down. Now, if they had been cavalry units, they would have absolutely killed that. And you can see the beautiful healing that's happening right there. Warrior Monk also going to be coming out. Mangonel decides, you know what? It's time to get out of these. Time to get out of this neighborhood and start living my life. And that's what he starts doing and gets healed up a bit more. Up towards the north, it looks like Hera is, or rather, it's Nikolai, who is doing a bit of long-distance chopping. This is something that can happen sometimes, so it can be a bit hard to find. Forests on the map, on a map like this. So the trick is to look for the dark green parts. You find the dark green parts and you'll be okay. Second keep now coming up for Nikolai, a little bit further in towards the middle. The second keep was a little bit closer to his base. Rather, the first keep was a little bit closer to the base. But Mangonel going to be teeing off once again. A massive crossbows beginning to build up. And Hera looking to do the same thing, also getting some crossbows out. That Mangonel continuing to fire off. Now, are there villagers brought up? Ideally, he needs to continue bringing villagers up because this Mangonel is going to go down, even though there's just a little handful of these men-at-arms. And the Springalds managed to actually cover pretty effectively, and he's got the single villager out. He's going to be okay. You can see just a single villager, how much healing they managed to do, bringing that bad boy back up to full health. And it looks like Nikolai actually coming ahead right here. And really, you got to start asking the question, is Hera going to be able to win this? He's doing his best to try and keep his head above water, but I'm starting to think that it might just be a matter of time until the pool gets drained, because he is sitting here with one town center. At least, I just got to make sure it's one town center. You know, I'm terrible at counting. I think it's one town center. He's still got one town center. We're 32 minutes into this game, and Hera is absolutely on one town center. I mean, he's making villages. He has not forgotten about villages. So, he's not going to have any problems at all. My main concern is that his opponent is continuing to pull ahead, continuing to scale. 94 villages. Let's do the opposite. We'll check the opposite side. 84 for Nikolai. Yo, Nikolai, your town centers make villages, and if you make enough of them, you can win the game just through sheer force, my friend. Keep it up, brother. You got 1,000 food back there. You just chuck 10 in the queue. Why not? But keep going to continue firing off. Mangonel managing to survive. It doesn't look like a lot of villagers out here. He does have a little bit of micro on him, though, the fella. Look at him go. Managing to pull that one back, and it does look like it is going to go down. Ideally, I'd love to see a few more villagers up here on the front line. Maybe if you use your town centers to train villagers, Nikolai, we could come into some sort of agreement about your villagers. But we'll talk more about that after the game, Nikolai. Keep it up. Keep it up, son. You're doing well. You're doing well. I'm impressed with how he's going. Honestly, he's doing really, really well going up against Hera, who, as you guys know, is an absolute fucking goat. And I'm not, because, like, greatest of all time. You know what? Greatest of all time. Hera's still young. That's the thing, right? Like, to call him the greatest of all time at a young age, it's kind of like an insult. Because it's like, well, he could still be so much greater than what he is right now. But when it comes to GOAT, I'm thinking more about like a Gaia joke. Like, I want to make a joke like, you know, we saw earlier how Nikolai slayed the sheep, but now he's looking to slay the goats, like that sort of thing. But yeah, it doesn't work. If it was Viper, then it's okay, because you know Viper before that guy could walk, he was owning noobs, and he's getting on now. So I mean, that's okay to call him the GOAT. Hera though, you still got a while to come, my friend. But now it looks like he's going to be slowly and steadily pushing out. We'll do a quick stock take to see what he's at. He's at 29 men at arms here, 12 archers, 19 crossbow in here. And I'm really starting to get concerned. You can see the scores right now. Nikolai actually is pulling ahead. But I think that the primary difference here is that if Hera does get on top of him... Oh, gosh. I really hate that sound, that Springald sound. If Hera gets on top of him and is actually able to take out the majority of the forces, push through to the main base, find those villages, and Mangonel shots coming through. He's got, oh my god, he's got so many Mangonels. Oh my god, Nikolai gonna absolutely wipe the floor right here. Not enough Springles at all for Hera. He makes an absolutely terrible mistake. Look at the damage that's coming out right now on all of these bows on the front line. There is a lot of infantry that has still managed to get in on top of this siege, but unfortunately it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. A huge surprise coming out there from Nikolai, surprising himself, his family, his friends, absolutely everybody. Nobody saw that many Mangonels coming except for Nikolai, and even he probably didn't see it. He probably put a few extra in the queue and was like, oh, I got 6 Mangonels, Dad. Dad said, good job. Look at these walls that continue coming up. I'll tell you what, I'm really impressed by Nikolai. Very methodical play. I love this this slow but steady wall, and this is very nice as well. Nice as wall. Did you guys hear that? Nice as wall. Nice as well, nice as well. But Hera now, 101 villages. He's hit that triple-digit mark with single town center, 35 minutes. Not too bad from him. But he's definitely on the defensive. 54 military population compared to the 64 of his opponent. 94 villages. My main... It's like Nikolai's listening to me at this point in time. Nikolai, I don't know how you're doing it, mate, but you are doing the walls and Mangonel strategy, and I love it. I don't actually know how you can beat walls, Mangonels, and Springalds. I think you got to go age 4, and that's really hard for Hera to do. That is very, very difficult for Hera to be able to do. But we'll see how he continues to play. You can see all the siege that he's got. He's got triple siege workshop out here. Oh my lord, man. If Nikolai gets to Imperial, he just wins the game. He goes Imperial, he gets siege works, he gets the he gets adjustable crossbars, and he gets the other, what's the other siege upgrade that they can get? I think they get like, they can fire further or something like that. Like they get a crazy upgrade, the Rustu for their Mangonels. So I wouldn't be surprised. But here, once again, you see the importance of those Springald emplacements, taking out the Springalds of the enemy. And there's really not a lot they can do other than trebuchets. So you need to trap down, you know, just a single trebuchet on these wooden fortresses. But as I mentioned earlier, as the Abbasid, a trebuchet is so incredibly expensive because you can make siege with your infantry, right? But the problem is, with the trebuchet, you can't make it with the infantry. So you have to drop 300 wood on the siege workshop, and then on top of that, you then have to pay for the trebuchet, which is 500 wood, 250. So you're talking about an 800 wood investment, a 250 gold investment, more than 1,000 resources just to go into a single trebuchet that's probably going to die to, like, you know, like a breeze that's slightly too strong. It's going to push it over. Trebuchet is going to die. You're going to be down 1,000 resources, and you're not going to be a happy camper. You're not going to be a happy camper. Not like Nikolai. He is a very happy camper at the moment. Camping behind his walls, sitting on 105 villages, 84 military population. Mangonel numbers are looking very healthy for him. He's on 6 Mangonels. A lot of Springalds out as well. He's got 6 Springalds out. Looking to begin trading out with Hera. Hera got to be careful here. He's investing all of his resources into those Springalds, but he's got 3.3k in the bank. Honestly, I feel like at this point, Hera just needs to go ham on men-at-arms, but the issue is, look at all these walls coming up from his opponent. He just feels like he's getting walled in, and there's very good reason for that. He is getting walled in. And so it just makes it harder and harder for him because he wants to be able to send, you know, units up towards this direction. Look at this weird path that he came as well. This is very, very strange. Very strange, Hera. But now it looks like a little bit of an attack going to be happening down here towards this south position. The Springald emplacement on the wooden fortress going to be doing its work on the outpost of its enemy. You can see slowly but steadily hitting it down with 11 attack each one because of that armor that comes through on the outpost. But now Hera back towards his base is having a little bit of a struggle because he knows that the fight is imminent. And his main concern is that he doesn't have enough Springalds, and he'd be damn bloody right. There's not enough Springalds here. And that is not a consequence of the way you've played, my friend. That is just a consequence of having 200 population. Huge infantry mass here. Are we about to see the largest Mangonel shots? There they go, landing into the middle of the battle. A lot of swings, a lot of misses, unfortunately. Mangonel's now looking to focus down on that front line. They wipe them all out. Springal's doing a great job as well. It looks like there's about 5 Mangonels that have remained, and Hera in a difficult position as Nikolai continues to push up. Nikolai, that is not the right button, my friend. You want to unpack those mangonels, and they actually fire on the back line, doing a huge amount of damage, unloading on that completely. He looks like he's almost sacrificed his mangonels just to get up there in the face of his enemy and do that damage. Hera now getting out a couple of horsemen as well. He said, we're just throwing everything at him. We'll just keep throwing spaghetti at the wall. Some of it will stick eventually, he says, but unfortunately today it doesn't look like any of Hera's spaghetti is going to stick to his wall, because Nikolai is looking incredibly strong. Nikolai sitting on 188 population, 141 for Hera, and it looks like we may have a significant upset on the cards for us today, ladies and gentlemen, as he continues to push in and Hera taps out Nikolai, one of the greatest novelists in history, at least Russian history, takes the victory. Fellas, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you check out Hera. I'm going to leave a link in the description. What an absolute insane game. 40 minutes long. There you fellas go. Let's have a look at the timeline and just see that beautiful village account for Hera the whole way through. Nice and steady. You know, they say slow and steady wins the race. Unfortunately, this time, you won the race, but you didn't win the game. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll catch you all in the next one.